Sierra Leone, a nation grappling with the scars of its past, was thrust into the global spotlight in August 2022. The streets of Freetown, usually vibrant with life, became the stage for widespread protests. These demonstrations, fueled by soaring inflation, economic hardship, and perceived government mismanagement, were met with a brutal crackdown by security forces. The air crackled with tension, the stench of tear gas hung heavy. The sounds of gunfire echoed through the streets. When the dust settled, over 20 protesters and innocent bystanders lay dead. 6 police officers also lost their lives. Eyewitness accounts painted a grim picture of excessive force used against unarmed civilians. Videos emerged showing security forces firing live ammunition into crowds. The brutal response sent shockwaves through the nation, raising serious concerns about human rights violations and the disproportionate use of force. In the aftermath of the violence, a special investigation committee was established to investigate the events. However, the committee's findings fell short of expectations. While recommending police training, the report failed to adequately address the use of excessive force. No investigations into civilian deaths were conducted. The lack of accountability left the families of the victims reeling, their cries for justice unanswered. The wounds of August 2022 ran deep, leaving an indelible mark on Sierra Leone's conscience. The international community, including human rights organizations like Amnesty International, condemned the violence and called for a thorough and impartial investigation. Amnesty International urged the Sierra Leonean authorities to ensure justice and reparations for the victims and their families. They demanded a full accounting of the events, holding those responsible for human rights violations accountable. The world watched, waiting to see if Sierra Leone would choose the path of justice or allow impunity to prevail. The August 2022 protests were not an isolated incident. They were a stark reminder of the recurring cycle of violence and instability that has plagued Sierra Leone. Months after the protests, unrest erupted once more, this time in the heart of Freetown. Armed men, their faces hidden, launched coordinated attacks on key locations. Wilberforce Barracks, a symbol of state security, came under fire. The central prison, holding both ordinary criminals and political prisoners, was targeted. The attacks, shrouded in confusion and fear, resulted in multiple fatalities. The violence sent shockwaves through the city, exposing the fragility of peace. The government's response was swift and decisive. Curfews were imposed, restricting movement and casting an eerie silence over Freetown. The military presence increased, soldiers patrolling the streets, their weapons a visible reminder of the volatile situation. While aimed at restoring order, these measures also raised concerns about potential human rights abuses. The space for dissent seemed to shrink, with fears of a crackdown on civil liberties growing. The root causes of the unrest were complex and multifaceted. They spoke to deeper societal issues, contested elections, political polarization, and the perceived marginalization of certain groups. The attacks were a symptom of a system grappling with unresolved grievances and simmering discontent. The violence that erupted in Sierra Leone, both in August 2022 and the subsequent attacks, highlighted a critical issue: impunity. When human rights violations occur without consequence, when perpetrators are not held accountable, it creates a dangerous precedent. It fosters a climate of impunity, where violence becomes normalized and justice remains elusive. The lack of accountability for the deaths of protesters and bystanders in August 2022 was deeply troubling. It sent a chilling message that the lives of ordinary citizens were expendable, that those in power were above the law. This lack of justice eroded public trust in state institutions. It fueled a sense of anger and resentment, creating fertile ground for further unrest. To break this vicious cycle of violence and impunity, Sierra Leone must prioritize accountability. Independent and impartial investigations into all alleged human rights violations are not optional, they are essential. Victims and their families deserve justice. They deserve to have their voices heard, their suffering acknowledged. They deserve to see the perpetrators held accountable for their actions. Accountability is not about retribution. It is about upholding the rule of law, ensuring that everyone is equal before the law. It is about sending a clear message that human rights violations will not be tolerated. Accountability is the foundation upon which a just and equitable society is built. Section 4. A seeds of discontent. Addressing the root causes. While addressing immediate security concerns is paramount, it is equally crucial to address the root causes of unrest in Sierra Leone. The violence that erupted was not solely a security issue. It was a symptom of deeper societal challenges. Poverty, inequality, corruption, and a lack of access to basic services are all breeding grounds for discontent. Sierra Leone faces significant economic challenges. The country is rich in natural resources, yet a large portion of the population lives in poverty. The gap between the rich and the poor continues to widen, fueling resentment and frustration. The government must prioritize inclusive economic policies that create opportunities for all citizens, particularly the youth, who make up a significant portion of the population. Investing in education is crucial. Education empowers individuals, provides them with skills and knowledge, and opens doors to opportunities. Healthcare is another critical area that requires attention. Access to quality healthcare is essential for a healthy and productive population. Job creation programs are also vital. Providing young people with employment opportunities not only improves their livelihoods, but also contributes to economic growth and stability. Addressing corruption is paramount. Corruption siphons off resources, undermines governance, and erodes public trust. The government must demonstrate a commitment to transparency and accountability, holding corrupt officials responsible for their actions. Fostering a culture of dialogue and political participation is also essential. Section 5, a call to action, the urgency of global intervention. The situation in Sierra Leone demands the attention of the international community. The international community has a moral obligation to act, to stand in solidarity with the people of Sierra Leone as they strive for peace, justice, and a brighter future. This is not merely an act of charity, it is an investment in global security and stability. International partners can play a crucial role in supporting Sierra Leone's journey towards a more just and equitable society. They can provide financial and technical assistance to strengthen democratic institutions, promote human rights, and address socio-economic challenges. Supporting independent investigations into human rights violations is paramount. The international community can lend its expertise, ensuring that investigations are thorough, impartial, and credible. Advocating for accountability is essential. International partners can use their influence to press for justice, to ensure that perpetrators of human rights abuses are held accountable for their actions. Supporting civil society organizations working on the ground is vital. These organizations play a critical role in promoting peace building, human rights, and good governance. They are often the first responders, providing essential services and advocating for the most vulnerable. Providing humanitarian assistance is essential. The violence and unrest have displaced families, leaving them vulnerable and in need of basic necessities. International partners can provide food, water, shelter, and medical assistance to those affected by the crisis. Addressing the root causes of unrest is crucial. Section 6. Towards a brighter future. Hope and collective responsibility. The challenges facing Sierra Leone are significant, but they are not insurmountable. The country has shown remarkable resilience in the face of adversity. The spirit of its people remains unbroken. There's hope for a brighter future, a future where peace prevails, justice is served, and all citizens have the opportunity to thrive. Achieving this vision requires a collective effort. The government of Sierra Leone must demonstrate its commitment to protecting the rights of its citizens, upholding the rule of law, and addressing the root causes of unrest. Civil society organizations must continue their vital work, advocating for justice, promoting human rights, and empowering communities. The international community must stand in solidarity with Sierra Leone, providing support and assistance as the country navigates this challenging period. The journey towards a brighter future will not be easy. It will require commitment, collaboration, and unwavering belief in the possibility of a better tomorrow. It is a journey worth taking for the sake of Sierra Leone and for the sake of humanity.